Hi, if you struggle to build connections because of shyness or introversion, struggle no more. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips that will help you break out of your shell and feel more comfortable in social situations like networking events. Hi, if you're new to me, my name is Ray Abram, and I'm a networking coach. I help entrepreneurs and executives go from being introverted to becoming influencers in their industry or their community. So, one of the most important things to understand as you're becoming more socially connected as an introvert is understanding that it's okay to be introverted. I tell my clients to stop trying to be an extrovert. Introversion is not some type of disease that needs to be cured, it's simply a personality trait. There's 5 personality traits that psychologists have identified that help you understand your personality. So you have agreeableness, you have openness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and introversion or extroversion. And where you land in the scale of these traits really defines your personality. And as you know, whatever your personality is, whatever you're born with, you're pretty much locked into that. However, you can tweak it, you can find workarounds to help you get the things that you want out of life. Even if your personality, if you're a neurotic person or you're, just not agreeable, there are people who you're just kind of born that way. There's a little nature, there's some nurture. However, all of these things can be addressed and adjusted. And so part of what I want to show you in this video today is ways to address and adjust the introverted part of you if you feel like it's holding you back. And I think many people do feel like that because our world, our society is built around extroversion, and so people who are extroverted seem to, get more sales. They get bigger promotions. They have better relationships. Everything seems to resolve around extroversion. However, introverted folks can be just as successful, and sometimes even more successful, as long as you understand it. But before I get started, I want to, really clear up one misconception about introversion and shyness. Quite often, those two words are confused or conflated, where people think that if you're introverted, you're shy, and if you're shy, you're introverted. The reality is that there are two different things. Introversion is a personality trait. Shyness is actually a disorder. It's technically called social anxiety disorder, where you have a physical manifestation of fear and discomfort in social interactions. And of course, that can scale from mild to very severe. And so shyness is a different situation than introversion. Introversion is simply how you get your energy. Some people, you call extroverts, get energy or feel pleasure when they're around a lot of people. And the more, the merrier. The more they talk, the better they think. Introverts are the exact opposite, where the more they think, then the better they talk. Introverts like to think, and they live much of their lives internally. They like to read. They like to, kind of stay at home, listen to music, things that are not excitable. For most people, really are what introverts are into. Extroverts are the exact opposite, where they like to be in, kind of loud and exciting experiences, how they get their energy. And so there's nothing wrong with either one of them. Matter of fact, the world is kind of broken up 50-50, introverts and extroverts. However, introverts, again, seem to be penalized for that, for wanting to stay in, for wanting to be quiet, not wanting to speak up in group situations because they haven't fully formed their thoughts yet. And so introverts tend to feel penalized. However, there are some workarounds, particularly when it comes to social interactions like networking events. And so I want to talk a little bit about those today. Tip number one, if you are introverted, it's going to be important that you're efficient in networking events. One of the challenges that introverts face is that the more time that they spend around people, the more drained they feel, the less energy they have, the more they want to get out of there. And so, what you have to do as an introvert is try to focus your time so that you're not spending an inordinate amount at these events. What I usually recommend is that you kind of get there early to networking events. If it starts at 7, get there maybe even a few minutes before 7, so that you can get in, warm up, meet the important people, meet the host, build these relationships so that they can come in handy quickly. And we'll talk a little bit more in future videos about how to leverage relationships with those social connectors who are hosting these events. But then plan to only stay there for an hour. You don't have to be there for the whole 4-hour event. I think that's when people get a little frustrated and get burnt out. Because again, as an introvert, you want to make sure you limit the amount of social interactions that you have, because everyone drains your energy a little bit. But you also have to be, while you're at the event, very efficient. So that means, let's not spend a lot of time just, talking to one person, which is a common trap people fall into, where you see somebody you feel comfortable with, and you spend an hour just talking with them and catching up. You're there to work. And so being efficient means talking to a bunch of people. And again, we'll talk more about how to work a room, but I just want to share with you. So, focus on, being efficient, getting there early, remembering you're there to work, and talk to as many people as you can in a short amount of time, which means spending just a few minutes with each person, as opposed to spending a whole lot of time talking to one or two people. The second tip is to use body language. I remember Tony Robbins has always talked about, how there's a brain-body connection. So the way you feel in your mind is reflected in your body. And we all know this: when you're sad, you frown, right? Or your shoulders slump. Or if you're feeling excited, you smile and you stand upright. What's interesting about that is that it works both ways. So if you act, or if you hold your body in ways that you would if you were excited or energized, then you start to feel that way too. People have said it, and you've probably tried this before, and if not, you should try it. Just no matter how you feel, if you smile, it will almost instantly make you feel better. So, keep a smile on your face, walk with an upright posture. When you think about, your clothing, there are certain outfits you have that make you feel more confident. So while that may sound, trite, almost like common sense, but sometimes people need to be reminded. So when you're going to an event, particularly like a networking event or a business event, wear things that make you feel confident, but also stand in a way, that someone who is confident would. And there's a whole training that I have on, kind of power poses. There are things you can do, have been proven to raise your level of confidence just by doing these things before you enter into an event, or things you can do while you're at the event that can make you feel instantly more confident and make you want to connect with people. The third tip is to focus on the follow-up. And this kind of goes back to tip number 1, where you don't want to spend too much time talking to one person. The purpose of networking events is really just to build, just to get leads, right? It's the top of the funnel. You're just gathering leads that you're going to follow up with next. Except for rare occasions, nobody ever actually sells anything at networking events. Matter of fact, they rarely even get customers at networking events. Networking events are simply lead generation, right? To kind of get names, that contacts, leads that you can follow up with, and then find out if this person is going to be a good customer for you or if they're going to be a referral source. But that's where you have the one-on-one interactions. And the beauty of this is that's where introverts excel, is with the one-on-one interactions. We're very good at that phone call or that coffee with one person, as opposed to being in a crowded room with hundreds of people that gets overwhelming. So while you're at the event, don't focus on trying to get a customer or try to trying to sell somebody something while you're there. Rarely happens. What you're doing is simply, identifying people who could be a good customer for you or a good referral partner for you, or just someone that you think it would be cool to talk to in the future, because you're going to meet some people at the networking event that right then you will never want to talk to them again. And that's okay. You keep it moving. But if you find somebody that you think would be a good customer, or they may know folks that will be good customers for you, let's schedule a follow-up call with them the next day or within that week, so that you can follow up and build the relationship one-on-one. That's what it's really all about, and that's much less intimidating. The tip number 4 is to practice. Don't wait until you get to a networking event to try to network, right? And particularly if you're not good at it, if you don't feel comfortable with it. There are times, when you're just out and about. Matter of fact, I'm quoted as saying, every event is a networking event, right? So every time you go anywhere, it's all about networking. And if you feel introverted or if you're shy, quite often you want to just kind of keep to yourself and not speak to folks. But that's something that you have to break out of your shell. You have to get out of your comfort zone, right, in order to practice. One thing I do and I recommend is use the supermarket grocery line, right? When you're in a supermarket, you're there and people are shopping. Turn around and talk to the person in line behind you. You have a few minutes, right? And just say hello, say something nice to them, right? And you never know. Sometimes it will turn into a conversation. And I know it's uncomfortable, particularly if you feel introverted, right? But what I love about that situation is you're not trying to sell anybody. Again, it's about, just meeting somebody, saying something nice, and quite often they'll say something nice back. And you may find out that this person could be a good customer for you or a referral partner. And so right there in that line, you may get a customer for life, or someone who can send you customers for life, just based on this new relationship you've built at the grocery store. And the good news is, if they're not a good customer for you or not a referral partner for you, then you never have to see them again. Right? So it's a good opportunity to practice. So I want to ask you a question, and please, in the comments below, I'm wondering what type of things you do today, if anything, what's worked for you, and share it, because I'm sure anybody who's watching this video would be interested in hearing some things that have worked for you, if you're introverted or if you're shy. How have you broken out of your shell? What tips or strategies do you use when you go to an event? Put it in the comments below, and I'd love to hear more about that. Tip number 5 is being present. Quite often the reason that you feel nervous or you feel uncomfortable in a networking event or any social situation is because you're kind of in your head and you feel like people are looking at you. You feel like you're going to mess up. You start to what we call catastrophize, or you start to you're reading people's minds and thinking that they don't want to talk to you. But none of that stuff is really true. It's all in your head. And so the workaround for that is simply being present. And focus on your breathing. There are breathing techniques that I go into and I train folks on how to breathe and meditate. If you don't have a meditation practice at this point, I do recommend that for you. Meditation is great at helping you become present, and in presence is attractive. It's one of those subtle subconscious things that we're attracted to as human beings. When folks are present in the room with you, they feel more solid. They feel more like someone that you want to talk to. That presence is part of the charisma formula. And so simply being present can make you appear more confident, can make you appear more charismatic. Even though you're not doing anything, you're simply being present in the moment. And that can be difficult for people who are introverted or feel uncomfortable, because your mind, you're trying to think about things that are that are not there. However, if you can find a way to focus and be present on where you are right now, and that will make the networking piece so much easier for you. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. We got other videos coming on networking, on how to become a better networker, even if you're an introvert. How to become an influencer. And so want to invite you to check out some other videos on the channel and subscribe. So I'm dropping something new every Monday. So please come through, check it out. Thanks again.